Alexa, family room on. Hey guys. So, Alexa, kitchen on. Alexa, kitchen on. Need more natural lighting in here. Don't mind the laundry I need to do. So I thought I would go live before my acupuncture. It seems like the theme, but instead of getting out of the house, I am doing. Just wanted to share with you that have been working on for a few months now the interactive map. My issue is that I had surgery. Whatever. Anyways, can't even turn it. Yep. On my wrist. And so I was supposed to practice typing. So I was like, might as well start inputting all these addresses. It's been 3 months now because my healing has been the slowest process ever and depressing. But as I've been trying to do this, I'm also trying to set a final date to keep pushing myself just to finish it. And so I'm doing a world map because I'm a very visual person. And then because of LA and Clearwater having the most entities, individual buildings, I will be including or having those separate. So that way it's for educational purposes. Wow. And no hate. I wanted to do a blog, but of course can't type or, issues. And so I'm holding myself responsible and time management to get this done. But I wanted to also make a video of who I am, why I'm doing this. And you're going to hear a lot of noise because I have 2 dogs and 3 cats that apparently I can't have my own space or time to myself. So let's see. My name is Sarah. I chose the Journey 2020 for a couple different reasons. One is my life has been described by an individual on a plane that my life sounds like a Stephen King novel, and it very much could be. I have not had the easiest life. I understand no one really has an easy life. My experience in a short amount of time is actually overwhelming to everyone that I've come across. So the usual friends that you keep, I just add to my repertoire, and then it's like a Rolodex. So the only one person that has seen it pretty much all since I was 18 is my husband. I've been married for, it will be 20 years in December. So I have a 16-year-old, or soon to be 16-year-old. I'm trying to get used to saying she's 16. And so my life began in Texas in 1982 to a very dysfunctional, abusive, they each individually had their own problems. And I was the second child of that marriage, but my father had 2 other children that I did not find out until I was 10 years old. So it's very complicated. My father is, he's an addict, and my mom suffered abuses as a child, and pretty much she was a military brat. My both grandfathers were in World War II. One is the most gentlest soul on my father's side. And then my mom's dad hated kids. You could not speak. You did not have a voice. You were not seen to be seen. And I remember I was 5 years old running just through the door, and I knocked out his oxygen, and called me that damn kid. He was ready to whip me really, really good. How I got from Texas to California, I finished half kindergarten in Texas, and that set up the constant moving. I finished kindergarten in the Sierra Mountains in the dead of winter. So those that know about the Donner Party, I got to experience snow when I know of giant bugs and everything, and toads from Kentucky and everything. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I my guidelines of where my boundaries are, like kids are supposed to stay outside. If you hear cars, you are too close to the highway because of how many trees. So there was little supervision, but you were only talked to when you were in trouble. And I got the leather belt. My brother got the leather belt a lot. And I was told by my mom, it's better than picking out your switch from the willow tree. So the setup was not good. My father, just not there. In and out. When I was 3, I asked for juice. I got my hand split open. Also, when I was a baby, learning how to talk, I had a lot of ear infections and no one took care of. And so I was in a lot of pain, but everything was an echo. And I could not say my R's, my S's, or TH. My first language is English, and that's the English language, those sounds. So if you watch some of my videos, depending on, sometimes I will talk in an accent. I don't know why. But I also will not say my R's if I'm tired and I'm not enunciating. So I could not say a full sentence and all those letters until I graduated from speech in the 2nd grade. I was so proud of myself. They also learned I have a learning disability. So my favorite word to spell in 1st grade was elephant. It was so awesome. I can say elephant because it has no R's, no S's, and TH sound. So I was very proud of myself, but I had to be in special ed. It be noticed that Sarah needs to go to special ed when English comes around because I'm not up to par. I was known as the stupid kid. Oh, okay, if you want a break. So it just didn't. I learned that it is better to be under the radar because, like I said, my family only talked to you if you were in trouble. And you did not want to have that conversation because it was a very short conversation and it was very physical and very verbally abusive, like cut you down, down to size. My mom's father served on battleships in the boiler room. So he was hardcore, served in World War II and the Korean War, and then was at Mare Island in Vallejo, taking apart those ships that had asbestos. And he had a huge settlement because those shards of fiberglass were in his lungs. He was a very hard man. I even asked my mom, would he ever like me? She said, depends what you do with your life. The conversations that even my mom had up until her death with me are not a mother-daughter relationship. It was very, when I was 15, she told me she feels bad for the person in the dark alley that will attack me. Who the hell says that to her 15-year-old? My mom did. And it's because at the age of 5, I was sexually assaulted by someone that was supposed to take care of me and my brother. My mom moved out on her own. She only, from her father's house in the Sierra Mountains, we moved to a trailer. And immediately within a month or two, I was sexually assaulted by a 15-year-old boy who I considered my best friend. I learned how to ride a bike, rode on the handlebars of his, and it was, a trailer park. You meet people and you play, because I was supposed to be outside, play outside, drink from the water, the hose. And so we had to move. And guess whose fault that was? And made very well aware by my brother and my mom. And then so we moved to Napa, where she grew up. And sadly, while we were there, not sadly, we lived on a farm. She moved in with a past boyfriend, and that was the cycle. Every 2 years we moved. I went to, besides kindergarten, 2 kindergartens, half in Texas and half in Sierra Mountains. I went to 3 elementaries. With a learning disability, and I was known as the stupid kid, flew under the radar. I was covered in bruises. By the 3rd grade, having to move the first time in Napa, my brother started beating the crap out of me every single day. And if I told on him, I got twice the beating in one day. It was, my father tried to enter our lives again and decided it was too hard and left. So I was 7, he was 8, and that's when the beating started. And I internalized it. From age 5 to 14, I was suicidal. Everything was my fault. I got yelled at all the time. To my family, to this day of the day that my mom died, and my brother. I do not know how the world works in their eyes. I'm naive, and I'm dumb. Like, can't comprehend how the world works. And can you imagine the people that are supposed to love you and support you just treat you like shit? And so I still have low self-esteem. But I've learned through all the pain and the day-to-day, then I'm strong as hell. I was supposed to say silent. Don't talk about our problems to anyone. The leather belt hung in my mom's, in the dining room, kitchen. Plain to see. You would get the lowest 3 spankings to all the way to 10. My brother, on several days of the week, he got 10 spankings all the time. and he was getting suspended. He was getting suspended, I think, first grade or at least third grade, his fourth grade, all in fights. And I was covered in bruises, and no one said anything. It's just Sarah running into a wall repeatedly. It's Sarah, is clumsy. And it just sucked really bad because I would tell my mom. She would beat my brother, and then he would come back and beat me. And so it was a horrible cycle. And mentally, just being yelled at for anything my mom felt. So that's why I can't get in a car. And if there's any yelling or frustration, argument, I want to jump out because I can't handle it. Anytime we got in a car, my mom would just yell at us, straight just yell, and about anything, about her coworkers, about a file, about her dating life. We moved every 2 years because she would move in boyfriends that she met at a bar just a few days, and then like the guy's gone in 3 months. And my mom had a big family, and I learned just a few years ago that the reason why there was no family all of a sudden, I had all these cousins, is because they started talking to my mom that you can't, especially her sisters, that you cannot move in boyfriends when you have young kids. They need to be a priority. She didn't like that. So she pretty much disowned everybody, and we were no longer allowed to talk to them or engage with them. So our little circle became so tight and not talk about it, not do anything, and just abuse ran rampant. So the preteen years, thankfully, my brother stopped hurting me. He would think it's a game, though, that anytime he will jump out, he will all of a sudden wrestle me to the ground. He's put a pillow over my face, try to suffocate me, and then it's like, oh no, here's a battery. So I don't know if you noticed that, but that's a 9-volt battery. He put on my lips and then counted 60 seconds for a minute. So just for fun. It was just horrible. I was 13. So I would get random meetings, random experiments. When I was 9, my dad gave me a boombox for my birthday. He never gave me a birthday present. He never talked to me. He stayed in Texas or wherever. And I talked to him on the phone, and I was asking him, when are you going to come see me? When are you, he didn't like that. So then he threatened my life, threatened anybody else that I told. I told my mom 2 months before she passed, because I had blocked it out of my mind. I just know that I have to sleep with something on my neck to cover it up and feel safe. I was only 9, and it's the same man that, because I asked for juice, and it's just one of those compact abuses, or whatever it's called. Thanks, Eric. I did not want to cry. You know how many times you go over in your head? I moved out when I was 19. So the issue was my mom My brother in 99 dropped out of high school. He was supposed to graduate. I graduated in 2000. I'm only 13 months younger than him. He was 3 times my size. I was actually tiny because we are polar opposite. Whatever he was very angry, I internalized my anger. He overate because we didn't have food. He overate, would throw up and then eat again, eat more. I never ate. So pretty much I was anorexic, but I didn't know it. I ate when I could. And I ate ketchup sandwiches on bread. That's how poor we were. And no help from our family because she isolated us. So, and you couldn't talk about it. So, I'm sorry, I did not expect to cry. So when I was my senior year, or no, I just graduated, and my brother had dropped out the year before, and he doesn't work. He just stays home and plays video games. Guess what he does now? Stays home and plays video games. My mom took the cable cord and then the phone. So he didn't have any, but I finally got a phone in my room, and the phone rang, and it was one of his friends, and I hung up real quick, and he was banging at my bedroom door, and he fought me for that phone. What I didn't tell you guys is that in the beginning, the first 2 years, I did ballet, and my brother did karate. He got all the way up to brown belt by the 2nd grade. He was good at it and practiced on me. So when he is 3 times my size, 300 pounds, I'm barely over 100, and I'm 5'6". I've been 5'6" since the age of 10, 11. I have super long legs, but my brother was very heavy set, but I wasn't paying attention to that. I'm just surviving, and I want to get out of this situation. But when you're stuck and this is your family, so he chased me through the house, banged down the door, and it popped open. It was one of those locks that you just push in. Those suck. Those do not do anything. And I reached the front door, turned around, and he did this karate move on me, grabbed my hand, twisted it, lifted me over his shoulder, and dropped me. What he ended up doing was pulling out. They weren't positive but my shoulder was messed up. So what they think is he pulled it out of socket, and when I landed on it, it popped back in. I had a manual car, and I could not go backwards and put it in first gear and put it in any gear. And I had just got my license. I started dating my boyfriend, and right after high school, we went to get me my driver's license because my mom wouldn't. And so this whole situation of like family's supposed to protect you and love you and care for you really didn't set me up for life. Just put me in a box and this is your life. You are a guinea pig. You're the baby of the family. I saved up for a year. I moved out when I was 19 and never looked back. Because that day that he attacked me, I ran across to the neighbor's house, scared for my life, because he just started laughing, talking. He's like, yeah, just, took down my sister. Haha. Yeah, she's crying. I knew he didn't care. I stopped crying and ran. Because it's like, oh my gosh. And called 911, and I had him arrested in RTO. And what I found out is that my mom wanted him out of the house, so she agreed to the RTO. And so we went to court. I got a 3-year restraining order. And guess what? My mom just wanted to break that restraining order. She got him out of the house. That's all she cared for, not my safety. Oh, come over. We're going to have Thanksgiving. My family really doesn't freaking care. That's the one and last Thanksgiving I ever went to, because I kept telling my mom, I have a restraining order. He hurt me. I had to do physical therapy for my shoulder through your insurance. Yet you want me to be his friend. And so it just, that was the last time. And I only talked to my mom twice a year. After that, my mom, I guess, my brother went in twice to a mental health facility. And she begged me to go see him. And this is within the 3 years. But I try to be such a good, under the radar, do everything I'm told by my mom. So I went to see him in St. Helena Mental Hospital. And the doctor's explaining to me he's on the B side, and we're trying to get him to the A side. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm just here because my mom said to. But I'm not saying that to him, because you keep your mouth shut of our personal business. Okay, I'm here. And then I sit and talk to him, and we start laughing about certain little games or whatever, funny little things that we remember in our childhood and we could laugh about. And I left and did not talk to him until I had a knock on his door and tell him mom's dying. The first words, it's bad. For 19 years, it's bad. Because he's shocked that I showed up in Texas at his door. Because when I found out my mom was dying, and I went to her appointment, and how bad it was, she had a 3-month set date of pretty much, nope, it's going to go to your brain. It's everywhere right now. And it's not just breast cancer. You have lung cancer. And because I guess the one way or the other, the lungs don't go to the breasts, but the breast can go to the lung. I think it's flipped, but they tested her lungs and they're like, nope, it's a different cancer. So she had 2 cancers when she died. But on their death certificate is stage 4 breast cancer. That's why she couldn't do any treatment, because it will give you a month if you do treatment for one, not the other cancer. And mom was like, I'll get a second opinion. I'm there, sitting there. My brother is not involved. Yet, apparently, I went white and needed to be leaned up against the door. And my mom's just tapping and like, what the hell? And I hadn't seen my mom in 9 years. My mom moved to, that's the other thing. My mom moved to Texas without telling me. I just had my daughter. This is the cake. This is my mom. I just had my daughter, and she comes 3 days after, because I asked her, do you want to be in the delivery room? She's like, no, that's your guys's. Okay. I have, and it's her only grandchild, her only. I had she met her at 3 days old and then at a month. But because my mom smoked heavily, she smoked 2 packs a day, guys. I asked her to wear a blanket over in between, for a barrier in between my baby and her, because it's through her skin, her hair, everything. She didn't believe in secondhand smoke. I don't know how you don't do that. I don't know. But she got embarrassed because it was in front of my in-laws, and she thought I was making fun of her. So the last time I saw her was when my daughter was a month old, and then 6 months later, I tried to call her to say happy birthday to her. Her phone is disconnected, and then 2 weeks after that, I get a call. I moved to Texas. Okay, have fun with that journey. I didn't see my mom until my daughter was 9, for a memorial for one of my aunts in Arizona. Less than a day I had with her, and she had with my daughter. And then when she was sick, something wasn't right. She wasn't telling me. So I took Caitlin, my daughter. Literally, this is how it went. We had to fly out of Sac to Arizona, to Georgia, to Shreveport, Louisiana, and drive through East Texas to get to a farm. My mom had a little hobby farm or whatever, to find out she's dying at 3 months. I get on the farm with my daughter, and my mom doesn't even acknowledge her for a full 24 hours, even though she was sleeping in her house. Did not talk to her, did not say hi. I don't know what to say. A grandparent, be like, come over, hug. Nope. She hated hugs, by the way. But I'm like, Mom, what's going on? She's like embarrassed and going, well, I'm just not feeling good. Like, okay, you have doctor appointments? What's going on? And literally all my conversations with my mom is about the weather, about animals, and any projects. That's it. That's the extent of our relationship. And she always asked my daughter how was school, and I kept telling my mom that's the last subject my daughter wants to talk about, school. And it didn't matter. And I just had back surgery, by the way, 7 months prior to that, in July 2020. So this is March 2021. I'm not even cleared to fly to sit that long. But I told him my mom's dying, like something's really wrong. She, had been on the floor for 8 hours, and she couldn't call for help or anything. Something's really wrong. And lo and behold, cancer was throughout her whole body, and she didn't even get it checked until her thyroid was even cancerous, and her whole hip, her everything. And it was just horrible. I set up hospice care. I did all her medications, the timeline and everything. And my daughter got to see how my mom treated me. She yelled at me the whole time I was serving her hand and foot. Like, just anything. Helped her to the bathroom. And I need to go lay down because of my back. I need to put heat on my back. It was not healed at all. And I could not lift my hands over my shoulder. I walked because I was determined to to not be disabled because they were telling me you will be permanently disabled. You plateaued is the word. And here my mom is just yelling at me because I'm not perfect. Get my cigarette. Get this. I need more coffee. Okay, how's your coffee? A little too strong, but whatever. Like, she was so mean. And on this country road in the middle of East Texas, guys, I'm serious. They had peacocks, random like chickens running around. I found out my mom was the mean lady on the street. She was the crazy old mean lady saying she had killer dogs on her property. One of those dogs is a therapy dog that she brought to hospice care. And here she's this old lady. And I'm like, huh? And everybody, I mean, they're miles apart, right? Everybody knew I was from California. Hey, her daughter from California is here. And they would see me walking. No one's walking in Texas, by the way. No one was. But here I'm walking on this country road that's a half mile long, and it's sand. It's a sand, right? I literally am walking down, and I meet a random dog, and I'm like, "Can I pass you? What?" And so I pass, and then all of a sudden, like the next day, and there's 5 dogs, and I was like, "What is going on?" One followed me home, and guess what? I got yelled at for bringing a dog home. I'm 38 years old. I was about to turn 39. And I'm like, I didn't bring a dog home. It's followed me. If you bring the dog here, my dogs will tear it apart. I have killer dogs. I mean, my daughter's hearing this because we're in a trailer and it's paper thin walls. Well, the second time that dog followed me home, and I nicknamed it Buddy, right? It's the actual name of the dog. That's why it kept following me. But the 2 weeks that I'm there with my daughter, right? The dog followed me. I opened my gate because I'm trying to block. And I'm incontinent. I have to wear diapers and change my own diapers, by the way. A horrible situation, but I'm trying to take care of my mom that's dying. And so before I got my brother involved. But here I am. I open the gate. The dog sneaks through. And he's a border collie. The cutest little thing. Named Buddy. Hey, Buddy, how are you? Not meaning to say, like, you're my best friend. You're just my walking buddy. He walked through, and the dogs jumped on him and tried to tear apart this dog. And I jumped on the dog, and I'm screaming for help. And my mom's screaming at me, get the hose! This dog's gonna die. No one can help me. And so I got bit in the leg, down to the muscle. I still have the scars. Thankfully, my mom finally called the dogs off. For 15 minutes, I'm rolling on gravel, trying to I get one dog off, and I am going, my daughter, because I'm not screaming at my mom. I never raised my voice to my mom, ever. I did what I was told, but I was not going to get that hose because that dog was being punctured and ripped apart. And this, my daughter screamed at my mom, shut up, we don't care. I was like, oh my God, Caitlin, no, you can't. And then I was like, in this situation, I'm bleeding. I have 3 puncture wounds in my leg. And I have 3 dogs that I'm like, what the hell do I do with? And my mom's like, I told you not to bring that dog home. What the fuck, Mom? I didn't bring a dog home. And so my mom calls him off. My daughter is flipping out. She's 12 at this point. It was only back in 2021, 3 years ago. And I'm like, Caitlin, it's okay. We're going to get this dog. The dog was still alive. It couldn't walk, tried to walk, but it punctured its leg and punctured its chest. And here I'm bleeding. I'm just like, and I'm like, all right. And this neighbor comes out with his bike and says, I heard and saw the whole thing. I'm getting the owner. And rode his bike all the way a half mile, got the owner. And that's when I learned his name is Buddy. I was like, no wonder you followed me. I was going Buddy this whole time. And they took him to a vet. He is fine. I'm actually friends with the girl that has him. She thanks me for saving him. I didn't, he was not up to date on his shots, but I knew he wasn't, had rabies, because he showed no signs. I called the lady that was taking care of my mom 2 months before I got there, that just was there to feed the animals because my mom couldn't. And then realized my mom is really sick. And so started taking care of her, and then told me, no, she's lying to you. You need to get here. She squeezed out blood clots out of my muscle. And her husband's like, I heard a lot of naughty words coming from you. I was like, yeah, you should have seen what came out of me. But I was telling this lady that my mom doesn't even care I got bit by a dog. My mom was more concerned about the dead carcass and just move it off the property. And I said, Mom, the dog's not dead. She's like, what? Really? She was upset her dogs didn't get to kill it. I'm like, you could ask if I'm okay. Nope. She was upset that I called different people to help me. And so while I'm talking to this lady, she tells me, tell her how you feel. I was trying to tell her, my mom does not do feelings. You do what you're told. You get in line. And you won't get yelled at or abused or whatever. Whatever is the standard, right? I'm 38 years old. I have a 12-year-old, but I brought a dog home. And so my mom, I had the couch in between me, and my mom's in the recliner by the window, by the door, and she's smoking her cigarettes. And I tell my mom that, and the lady's standing in between, like, yeah, we'll be good. You could tell your feelings, and your mom's gonna, oh yeah, sure. My mom couldn't tell me she loves me. I asked her, and I told her, Mom, you were more concerned about the dog not being dead than my being bit in the leg. I have 3 deep holes in me right now. And she just had to squeeze blood clots out of it. And my mom's like, okay. And I'm like, Mom, it's like you don't love me. Do you love me? I can't believe you're asking me that. I was 38 years old asking my mom to love me. My daughter's in the next room after this horrible situation, listening to everything. And I asked again, Mom, do you love me? She just kept smoking. I ran out of the house, crying like I did that one day that I was hurt by my brother. And I was 18 and he was 19. Because the people that are supposed to love you don't always love you. It's conditional love, and you better fall in line. You better do what you're told. And the lady stood up for me. She told me that with the amount of grace and compassion I have while being yelled at and just being a servant to my mom, making sure my mom's needs are met, that she didn't have the decency to say that she loves her daughter. It gets worse. I had to fly back. I got on, they told me I plateaued and permanent disability 3 days before my 39th birthday. I got my daughter back in school and deal with that. My husband started growing out his hair. He had a high ponytail. We're like, what's that? Because I immediately said I need to go and didn't even talk to him about it. Just, I need to go take care of my mom. Something's not right. I get back in 2 weeks and I have 3 giant holes in my leg and a horrible stories to tell. I got my brother involved before I went back. Also, I had this bed, guys. The lady that was taking care of my mom knew I had back surgery. She's like, you could borrow my daughter's bed, mattress. I bought the little stand for it to put it down and bought my own little heater for my back. So I was laying down all the time, like every hour. And lo and behold, my brother, who was not supposed to be staying with my mom, staying in his own place, he has SSI ever since he was 21 years old. So he doesn't get to do anything. Texas gets to take care of him. It's so frustrating because he stayed at her place, took that bed, and just like the phone, I had a target on my back. He tried to get me to switch mattresses with him. He could stay in that bed because his back hurt from his sciatica and maybe he needs surgery. I was going paralyzed, guys. My vertebrae was knocked out by a 7-year-old because I worked with special ed, and it was not impinging on my spinal cord, but it irritated the hell out of it that I was going numb. And that's why I had to change my own freaking diapers. And so here I'm back in Texas, fighting with my 40-year-old brother over a damn bed. And he wouldn't let go. He's like, you take my bed. Try my bed. You haven't even tried my bed. You might like it. No, I'm not. No, this bed is specifically for me to use while I'm here. And he wouldn't let go. And I was only there for the day, guys. A night hasn't even started. I called and said, you need to pick up this bed because it's a target on my back. It is a target. I don't know where I'm sleeping, but I cannot have this. I'm in danger. So they came and picked it up. My brother was pissed off, said that I got rid of the bed so he couldn't have it. What? No. And also, so I have an appointment at 10, guys. I may finish this up at another time. I'm sorry, I cried. My life has been, like I said, I'm strong as hell with what I've been through. It's just incredible how my brother always made it about him. And when I got rid of the bed, and he was also cooking for my mom. And put her on low calories because she did not move. She was stagnant. So she doesn't get to eat a lot of calories. She's dying. But in their mind, no, she has at least a year. So he has her on so many calories. And then and I didn't know it was like this, but every single food item, you have to ask permission to eat. So the bananas that he bought, my mom was talking about eating a banana for breakfast. And I said, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Because they were still surprised she had an appetite. He goes, no, you can't have the banana. That goes in a smoothie. I'm looking at him. She can have my banana. And he's like, you don't want your smoothie? No, I don't want my smoothie. Mom can eat a freaking banana. Because I don't want to repeat. She's dying. Let the woman eat what she wants. But you don't want to, because I was negative all the time in my family's eyes because I'm a realist. But it was just so horrible because here he's putting her on. So we had a blown out argument and I just lost it. I was using every single cuss word I've ever even heard. And he got in my face and I got scared. I already got rid of the bed he wanted. I just had it. And so I went to leave and said, Mom, I'm getting a hotel. And I went to grab my bag and my brother chased me outside and said, you're not taking Mom's truck. My mom can't drive and he never got his driver's license. My brother has done nothing with his life, guys. And so he chased me to the truck. I just threw it in the back of the truck bed. He turned his body and we found out that I was 5 pounds heavier than him. He laughed at that. I was like, okay, I had a baby. I had back surgery. I've been laid up in bed. Like, okay. And I am an emotional eater now. When I'm in pain, I need to chew. And so he turned his back and bumped me. And I was like, I was scared. I knew you never change. He's like, I didn't touch you. And then he's like, where's the keys? And I started just walking down this country road in the middle of East Texas. Don't know what the fuck to do. Don't know what's a good name. Like, hello, don't know anything. And he's like, you lazy whale. Yeah, well, 5 pounds. It could be water weight. But I was like, what is with the weight? What is with me having things that he doesn't have? Like, this makes no sense. So I went to Buddy's house, knocked on the door, and asked if I can hang out in their backyard. So, hide in their yard so I can figure out what I'm doing. Because he wants the keys. Oh my gosh. I'll finish up this story how I got the hell out of East Texas, guys. I'm going to leave you with me being in the backyard. Hiding in the country of East Texas. My God. I better get to my acupuncture. It starts at 10. It's just down the road. But have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for letting me complain about my life. I don't know. But it is what makes me who I am today. So, have a great day. Sorry for being emotional. See you soon. I don't even know how to get out of here. How do you end? Oh, there you go. Bye, guys.